Hello, Siouxland, and welcome to another episode of Focus on the Community. I'm your host, Eloy Garza, and tonight I have Michelle and Carrie from the Junior League of Sioux City. Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for being on the show tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Now, Junior League of Sioux City, what exactly is it that your organization does around town?
Junior League is a group of women that basically what we do is we volunteer our time throughout the community to make Siouxland a better place to live.
Oh, that's great. And you do that primarily with the women in the area?
We help everyone the best we can, but we do focus a lot of our projects on women and children, just because that seems to be one of the areas of greatest need at this time.
Oh, that's great. Now, you are all a volunteering group.
Yes.
And you take spare time out of your own busy lives. What careers are you really in, or what are your main careers?
I teach English at Heelan High School.
Okay, so shout out to Heelan.
Yep.
And I'm an attorney.
Okay, so shout out to all the attorneys in town.
Sure.
Okay, now great. Now I understand that there was a need for more volunteers.
Junior League is always looking for women to volunteer their time. Not only do we do a lot of volunteer work, but it's also a great way to meet other women and have fun. We frankly have a lot of fun in everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
Great, that sounds fantastic. Now, speaking of fun, I heard you guys just recently took a trip somewhere.
We did. We took a trip to New Orleans, and it wasn't necessarily about fun. It was about working.
Okay.
Not that we didn't have a little bit of fun, but
you had fun while you were working.
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
The project was called Junior League's Rebuilding a Better New Orleans.
Okay.
And it was hosted by the Junior League of New Orleans, and they put out an invitation in the spring for other junior leagues from across the country to come and help them revitalize their community after the hurricane. And they expected 30 to 50 people, and they got about 525 people from all over the United States,
Wow.
Canada, and the UK.
That is fantastic. So, I mean, your group is primarily made up of this great network of volunteers that just come together when they're needed.
Definitely.
So they asked for 30 to 50, and they got over 500.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
Yep. Mass turnout. And we did a lot of different projects. They had us working on 12 houses, a cemetery, a playground, a charter school, and a restaurant, as well as we worked on sprucing up the main corridor of the Freret Street neighborhood.
Wow.
So it sounds like a lot, but with that many people,
Right. I'm sure
you can get a lot done.
Yeah. I'm sure it was very productive. That's
really was.
fantastic. Now, what were some of the main tasks that the Sioux City group did down there?
Oh, well, the first thing that we took on was there was a house for a gentleman and his elderly father that had been badly damaged in the storm, and we scraped and sanded and painted that house.
Wow.
So, because it's hard for those people down there to take time out of work to do the stuff that needs to be done to make
their lives.
Exactly.
Wow. Here you guys are. Now, how many went to New Orleans?
19 from Sioux City.
Wow.
And even though we're one of the smallest leagues in the world, we sent one of the bigger delegations down to New Orleans, so that speaks a lot about the Siouxland community and the kind of people that we are.
That's great. Midwestern hospitality.
Yes.
Heading down south to help out. That's great. Wow. Now, did you guys fly there? Did you guys bus there?
We flew.
Okay.
Which is always fun with 19 people.
I would imagine. I would imagine. Now, you said you did paint someone's house, and you kind of helped remake a person's house. And there were other things that you did. Could you elaborate a little bit more on those?
Sure. We also spent a day cleaning up a cemetery, and I don't know if you've ever seen the cemeteries in New Orleans, but they are they don't bury their dead in the ground because of the water. They bury them above ground. And so they're basically like a cement box without a lid, and they put the coffin in there and cover it with dirt, or sometimes they'll cover it with cement.
Wow.
So a lot of things grow, weeds grow, and the cemetery was really old, so the mortar was cracking and weeds were coming out of that, and an outbuilding in the cemetery needed to be painted, so we did that. We cut grass and saw some snakes and rats and geckos.
But got a lot done.
Yes.
Wow. Now, how were the New Orleans people there?
You know, the thing about the New Orleans people were every single one of them was just overflowing with gratitude for us coming down there and helping them out. And I don't even know that it was so much that we were helping them out, but just being there was helping them out. So everybody had just amazing things to say about us, and just very, very thankful people.
Very rewarding, I would assume, as well.
It was.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, where did you stay?
We stayed at the Marriott downtown on Canal Street.
Now, was it all hard work, or did you get to see the town a little bit?
A little bit, not too much though, because we put in a full day of work, and by the time we got back to the hotel and showered and ate dinner, it was pretty late.
Right. But the Junior League of New Orleans also had like a Red Cross disaster training and that kind of thing. So we would work during the day and then take in some of that training and then squeeze in a little bit of time to see some of the sites, but not much.
Yeah. Wow. Now, what are some of the other more common events that you do maybe here in the Sioux Land area?
We do projects called Done in a Days, and those would be projects that we plan far out in advance, but once all the women come together, they only take a day to complete. So, for instance, one of our most recent was the Chris Larson Park on the riverfront, and we are in the process of getting some new equipment, I believe.
Right.
But in the meantime, we put mulch down just for ground cover, and then we also repainted the equipment just so that it's a little bit more attractive to passersby.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's fantastic.
Most of our work is done locally. This New Orleans thing was kind of a unique situation due to the hurricane.
Now, are there other big times where, you know, the large North American group just comes together, or was this call for need just a huge calling? That
I think that they said that this was pretty much unprecedented, that it was the largest gathering other than the international yearly meetings, I think, where a lot of people show up. But otherwise, this was unprecedented.
Wow. Now, you had said that your group was attending some Red Cross training. Now, what kind of training does your group attend?
Well, the Red Cross down there, basically the whole focus of their training was getting our communities ready for a disaster, and that the fact that that started at home, and the types of things that we needed to do to prepare for this type of situation.
Wow, that's great. Now, do you learn CPR, Heimlich, things of that
we didn't have enough time to learn any of that, but that's all part of it.
Wow.
I think the biggest things that we probably took from that was, as Karrie said, it starts in the home, and the Red Cross showed us examples of basically every home should have one big backpack in it with things such as a list of phone numbers, because as we know, we rely on our cell phones to carry our phone numbers, but if you don't have any power, the battery dies and you don't have access to them. So you need a list of phone numbers, a list of doctor's numbers, you need water, medications, things like that.
Wow.
And so that way, if there's a tornado or anything else would happen in this area, you can grab your backpack and go.
One of the things that everybody down there said is that they all, the people that evacuated, which most of them did, took enough stuff for maybe 3 days. They didn't expect to be gone any longer than 3 days.
I think it was 6 weeks.
Right, 6 weeks before any of them were allowed back at the earliest. So.
Wow. So, I mean, it goes without saying that was pretty traumatizing for them.
Yeah,
sure.
It seemed like it. It seemed like a lot of the stories were typical as compared to one another, but yet they all have their own personal and human angle. You know, they all, none of them wanted to leave, none of them were sure that it was necessary, because living there they get hurricane warnings all the time. And, you know, a lot of them would say, well, we survived Betsy, or, you know, they survived Camille, and they just weren't sure this was going to be any different. So it was a struggle for them to decide whether or not to leave, and a lot of them said that they spent maybe, I know one lady said that a journey in her car that normally would take 2 hours, it took her like 8 hours, just because of all the traffic going out.
Wow.
So it was difficult for them.
Another thing that the New Orleans Junior League put on for us was a bus tour of the city. So we went down into the 9th Ward and saw exactly where the levees broke and the damage that had occurred down there. And there were houses that were totally just flipped on their sides, and empty lots where there were driveways that the house was just completely gone.
And this is 13, almost 14 months after the hurricane. So that's pretty surprising as well, that we can go there and it looks like we're in a different country, that there are still piles of rubble and debris
So it hasn't really changed much from when the original disaster
I wouldn't think.
occurred.
I didn't see it then, but
Right.
it doesn't seem like the disaster occurred that long ago. It seems like it was maybe a month or two ago, from what it looks like.
There's a
Wow.
lot of work to be done yet.
Wow. Now, do you feel that your organization, your group, will have another calling like that maybe here in the future?
It's possible. It's possible.
I think it's safe to say that if anybody ever needed our help, we'd do our best to help them out.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now, here in the Siouxland area, how many times do you usually help out around the area? How hard is it to really organize all of your group members together?
Well, we have different committees that kind of plan different events, like the Done in a Days that Michelle was talking about. That's handled by one committee, and then other projects are handled by other committees. So when you break it down like that, it's a lot easier. But we have a meeting every month where we do some sort of activity, and then there's other things that come up. So
Now, how many committees do you have?
How many committees?
10, 12
Yeah.
maybe,
Wow.
a rough guess.
Could you name off a few of them?
It's pretty well organized. We have the Discovery Shop Committee, which I'm on, and that we help out with the thrift store, and then we organize things like the Santa visit for the children in the West 7th neighborhood,
Right.
or from all over the city, from all over
Right.
the area, in December, and then we do the prom dress swap in the spring, which we get a lot of donated formals, and then teenagers, young girls can come and shop, and they just pay a flat $20 for each dress, so that's a savings to them, and it's a way for us to help out.
I mean, so it's not really just a prom dress swap.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Prom
So
dress
people-
sale.
Yep,
Right,
they're
right.
donated, and and then the proceeds from that then again goes back into our budget to help fund other projects that we do.
Wow, that's great. Now, here in the Siouxland area, or Sioux City area, what is your primary event, your primary mission, other than, of course, volunteering as much as you can?
Well, I think we probably have, our primary mission is to better the Siouxland community in any way that we can, and how we go about doing that probably changes every year. The last 3 years, I think we worked on Cook Park, renovating that and cleaning that up,
Right.
and now we're moving on to like the Children's Discovery Museum.
Okay.
So we kind of just work on projects as they come out and do what we
Right.
can.
How about as much as you can, when and where you can?
Exactly.
That's fantastic. Now, how long has your organization been around?
The Junior League, as far as an international community, I think it started in 1911 or something like that. It's been around for a long, long time.
Right, so you've been around a while, and you've been helping out in Siouxland for quite some time as well.
Right.
Well, ladies, I believe we were running out of time, so I'd like to thank you very much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you, Siouxland. Remember, when you focus on the community, you focus on what's important.